y'all? Welcome back to What's Up Wednesday, where we just do a bunch of random shit. Actually, what I want to do today is dive in a little bit more to sound design with just basic FL stock stuff. I typically do samples for everything. I think the sound of samples just have so much more soul than a regular just kind of plug-in type synth sound or whatever, but I feel like I need to build my skills on being able to mix samples with, adding other sounds and stuff into it and being able to play the keys. I'm going to go ahead and try to dive in and learn more about today. But first, I want to go ahead and review the new headphones that I got here. So I had been rolling with the Beats Studio 3 headphones for a while. I mean, these things are awesome. As you can see, they got a little wear and tear on there. But unfortunately, after having them for a little over 2 years, they just stopped keeping a charge. Like literally had it all charged up. I went to go plug it in, about to bang out a masterpiece, and then they just died on me. I couldn't even keep them plugged into the computer to keep them on. They just kept dying. I don't know if anybody's ever had this issue with a Beats headphone or any type of headphone like that. So if anybody knows how to way to salvage them, I would definitely like that. Otherwise, if you know what to do with old equipment, if there's any money I can get out of this, please let me know in the comments. So I wasn't getting another just Beats Studio 3. They're about $200 to $300 depending on where you look, but I eventually want to get studio monitors, and I'd rather save up my limited budget towards those rather than trying to drop all that on just the headphones right away. So I ended up getting a little bit cheaper, the Skull Candy Hesh 3s. I think I've heard people in the past say Beats headphones are overrated or whatever. I had the wireless, just like earbud Beats headphones, and those are definitely overrated. They're terrible, they're overpriced. Get away from those. The Studio 3, however, was nice. I got the Skull Candy Hesh 3s, and to be honest, they're solid. You can definitely hear the bass, but the sound quality of the Studio 3s is definitely noticeably better. The Hesh 3s aren't bad. I think they're able to still pick up most of the sounds. It sounds a little more hollow. It's just not as rich of a sound. They're not terrible by any means, but you definitely notice a difference. I do wonder, one issue I might have been having with the Studio 3s though is the bass is really good, and I wonder if it was just boosted too much. Sometimes I noticed in my mixes that would sound great in FL Studio, and then I'd go play them later and the bass would just kind of sound off. I think it was being boosted while I'm trying to mix, and then when I listen to it on a different set of speakers, it wouldn't be as present as much because I was listening to it louder while I was mixing. The Hesh 3s do seem to be a little more balanced just based off my ear. In terms of price point, again, the Studio 3s are going to be anywhere from $200 to over $300 if you go to like a Best Buy or whatever, and these are only $60. So if you do need a short-term solution, I would actually recommend these. I think they're solid, especially for their price point, but if you're looking for the overall quality, in my opinion, the Studio 3s definitely got more. But hey, when you're balling on a budget, you got to do what you got to do, right? Let's hop on YouTube. Sound design with stock FL Studio. Let's see what pops up here. How to make stock plugins sound way better. Let's try this.
Hello and welcome to BusyWorks Beats.
It's BusyWorks. BusyWorks has so much good stuff on here. I highly recommend his channel. And let's be honest, the bass in this man's voice, it's solid.
Today I'm going to show you how to make the stock plugins sound a lot better. Let's open up SimSynth. So it gives you those retro sounds that are coming back in style. Let's go to presets, and let's cycle through the presets using these arrows. Now this is a pretty decent sound. Okay, let's right click, go to piano roll, and create like a melody. Okay, so it's just a pretty basic melody. Let's go to a different preset because that's acting weird. Okay, so like this sound, you may think it sounds weak. First thing you have to look at is sound design, like shortening the decay time to sound more like a real sound. So it's all about like knowing the parameters.
Yeah, it's about knowing the parameters. BusyWorks Beats, that's why I'm watching the video.
Let's add Fruity Delay 3. Turn your dry level all the way down. Turn your feedback down. Turn your time delay time down, and then turn your time modulation up. It's gonna give it that modern pitch wobble effect. You can also use the filter right here. I'm not gonna use it because the sound's already kind of filtered via its low pass or whatever filter it's using here. Let's turn that off actually. I'm gonna turn that filtering off so you can hear the raw. Giving it a little bit of a tail. You don't have to worry about that, but doing that for the video's sake. That small pitch wobble can add a lot of effect. Let's add Fruity Delay 3 again. This time, pull your wet level to halfway, leave your dry. And just add a simple delay. Stereo, you can do offsetting. In this case, I'd pull the feedback back a little bit because it's a very rapid. So a lot of movement. That's one way to make your melodies sound better in FL Studio. Let's add gross beat. Go to your presets, go to momentary, and then go to half speed. Then what we're going to do is blend by turning this green knob down. We instantly made the melody sound a lot cooler.
All right, that was tight how he did that. I don't know if that sounds that great, but that was pretty tight.
After 3 steps. And here's what it sounds like before, just as a recollection. Doesn't sound bad, but remember, let me show you some more tricks. You can go to Panomatic, Fruity Panomatic. This one's hard, it doesn't sync up with the tempo, so you gotta be careful here, but turn it on pan mode. I like mine on triangle mode. Turn the amount up and then mess with the speed. So it pans left and right. Makes the melody a little more active. Now let's add Fruity Reverb 2. Turn up the wet level, you don't have to mess with the separation knob. Turn up your decay, cut with the turn your high cut down. I like to cut out my lows. You can read the values in the top left. I'm not obsessing over them. This just makes the sound feel bigger and have more depth. Just mess with your wet level here to adjust. Another thing you could do, let me give you another octave here so we can really get into it. Hit Control down to do your octaves, up or down. Now let's take it to another level. Let's add gross beat. Now here's where it gets a little more complex. We're gonna set this to 1/4 timing. This is like the Drake effect. You just right click, make that a single curve, and you can make the volume kind of cut every whatever. So in this case, it cuts every step. And you can reshape the curvature so it doesn't cut out the whole sound. The point is to make it feel like it's stopping. You can always pull back the effect with the volume knob if it's too aggressive.
Good stuff, BusyWorks. Always coming through. That was a nice quick one, straight to the point, showed a lot of stuff, nice and dense tutorial. Threw it a like. Let's try it on my own. All right, that was definitely some good tips on just how to do random stuff, adding delay, just screwing around with the growth speed presets. I've been using growth speed every once in a while for stuff, but I completely did not know all the different presets that I had. At the end of the day, I think adding all those other different effects are cool and getting the synth sounds going. I don't know, that synth sound is just not something I typically like in hip-hop beats. I like just the more natural, organic sounds. Maybe I'll start using some of those tips for piano. I definitely think with piano mixes well with almost any type of sample that you could find, and maybe I'll start trying to incorporate that in my beats. Who knows? It's hard to break old habits, but yeah, that's definitely helpful stuff. Let's go ahead and head to Reddit. Making Hip Hop subreddit. Instagram follower trick. Got 500 followers in 2 weeks after starting posting beats on IG. A technique I learned was you could follow someone, then like and comment on some of their posts so they don't think you're a bot. Then you repeat the process on their followers. After a while, you're going to have a circle of people you know and follow you, which makes your interaction on IG a lot higher. I never use Instagram. Well, take that back. I love looking at all the different random thoughts on Instagram, showing all their workout pics. I mean, who doesn't love that stuff? But I don't really get on there that much to interact with people. I really don't use social media at all. I like getting on YouTube and watching cool videos, and then I'll check in on friends with Facebook every once in a while. Although with building all these different tutorials and stuff, maybe this is something I need to look into a little bit more. But do rappers even go on Instagram to find beats? I feel like they go to YouTube. I don't know. Let me know what you guys got going on with Instagram. Please suggest me about headphones. Is Sennheiser HD 206 headphones good for mixing? If no, then which one are the best for low budget? Sony MDR V506. Yeah, I think I'm going to follow up with this one. I am interested to see which headphones people like for mixing. I mean, I don't know. For me, I just feel like after a while, there's only so good you're going to get of a mix with headphones. You eventually need to just go to a completely sound-treated studio room with balanced monitors to get that perfect mix. My thing with mixing, especially for producers, is that if you're ever going to release a final track for distribution out there, that's the time that you really need to be able to mix it proper so that it sounds good on all these different platforms. If you're just making beats and posting them on YouTube or just trying to sell them to amateur rappers around the internet, this thing does not need to be professionally mixed. As long as it sounds good enough, people don't care. I hear songs that are popular all the time that are not well mixed at all. Sometimes hi-hats are just way too loud. Sometimes sounds are just all over the place. I wouldn't get too wrapped up in trying to create the best mixes possible on your budget ghetto-ass studio setup that you have. Definitely get something that's good enough. Again, the Studio 3 Beats headphones are good enough. These Hesh 3, I think they're good enough, especially since I'm a little more experienced, kind of know how I want it to sound. Definitely don't get caught up with the audio nerds that try to tell you that you need this with these decibels and these megahertz and this and that. Those people are lame. They do not make good music. They're just haters. But at the same time, there's a balance, right? You gotta have good enough, but don't sweat it. How do I collect mechanical royalties through BeatStars? I'm in the process of setting up my own beat store on BeatStars, and as many of y'all know, it's a lot of legal stuff and new information I gotta absorb on how to lease beats. One thing I'm pretty much stuck on is how to collect mechanical royalties if someone buys my beat on BeatStars and uses it for a song they then release. How do I collect mechanical royalties? How do I collect on royalties? The simple answer is a lawyer. I mean, if random people are just buying your beats off BeatStars, how would you track them? You know what I mean? Like, someone, you live in Wyoming, someone in Denmark buys your beat, don't know them, you maybe got a notification that someone bought a beat from you. They bought with some random username that might not be the username they use for their YouTube channel or SoundCloud, Spotify, or wherever they release their music. I think people getting wrapped up in too much of the business side of music when they're just getting started is, I know everybody has the dream of making it big, and by no means am I saying that you can't do that one day. It just comes one step at a time. I think media articles like to portray these overnight success stories as something that just came out of nowhere, and they're not. There's usually a big buildup to someone getting national success, you don't just release a song and then everybody loves it so much that they share it with all their friends and yada, yada, yada. Like, there's so many good, talented artists, even with labels backing them, people just don't hear about all the time. To think that you alone, without any sort of marketing team, without any sort of accounting team, without any, legal help, are going to be able to put all this music out and then be able to track all the royalties off of it is just not understanding everything that it takes to truly distribute a product, whether that's music, whether that's pillows, whether that's anything that you can sell. In my personal opinion, and people are willing to disagree on this, I wouldn't really start worrying about the business side until you actually have produced a song that's getting traction. Now, you might be wondering, oh man, I got a song out there and it's getting all these plays and I'm not making money off of it. But that one song that actually starts getting traction and people start listening to is going to lead to giving you more opportunities to make more songs, and it'll keep growing from there. Again, in my personal opinion, focusing on the business side before you even have any songs out there that anybody knows about, it's just a waste of your time and energy. Really. Get good at making your beats better. Get good at finding artists and developing them, helping them develop, and start putting good music out there, knowing in the back of your mind you're not going to make money right away, because in industries like the music industry, it's not just a straight rise. It's a gradual, and then when you do actually get traction, if you ever get to the point where you're able to develop fun, entertaining music that people want to listen to over and over again. I am not an expert in the music business, but I do run my own business on the side outside of music, and I promise you the most difficult and the most expensive thing that you're going to have to come across is getting your product or your service, or in this case your music, out to people. It's the most expensive part of the process. If somebody doesn't have the money to get distribution, to get marketing, and doesn't have the connections to get on, editorials and blog posts and get mentioned on radio and get interviews, people are just not going to hear their song. There are thousands and millions of songs released all day, every day. Again, I don't want to make it sound like you can't grow, and I definitely encourage people to put their music out there and, start somewhere. But it's really one step at a time, and it'll be small incremental progress until the tidal wave comes for when you actually take off, if you stick with it and continue to develop and get better. Samples, copyright Nintendo for underground producers. All right, so I sampled a song from Zelda for 3 seconds. My rapper friends, they want to buy it for $30. They want to put it on all streaming platforms. Should I be worried that Nintendo's going to come after me and try to sue me or whatever? There's a cost involved in these big companies trying to come after you to get money from whatever song that you release. There is so much music being distributed on the internet right now from just, basic, home producers like us. It is impossible for companies like Nintendo to track all the different people that may or may not be using their songs in their music, right? Nintendo's main focus isn't even music. They want to develop new games. They look to sell consoles, sell games. Their main focus is trying to sell video games. The only way that they would even come across your music is if it made it big. So again, if you're selling a beat to your rapper friends for $30 and they want to distribute it on Spotify or whatever, I mean, maybe Spotify's algorithm could pick up the sound if you didn't change it enough, but otherwise, nobody's gonna know. In my opinion, if your song does blow up and Nintendo comes after you for a copyright situation, it's not a bad thing. Yeah, you'll have to pay out some money to them. But hey, now you got a hit song. Now you got some press from getting, anytime the sample clearance stuff doesn't go through, you get press about it. It's like jaywalking, man. Is it illegal? Yeah. Is anybody going to bust you for it? No. My opinion. Hello, I bought beats on BeatStars, and at one point in license I didn't understand is the licensee is expressly prohibited from registering the beat and or new song with any content identification system, service provider, music distributor, record label, or digital aggregator. For example, TuneCore, CD Baby. And then here's a comment, kind of along the lines of my thinking. Bro, to be honest, I've uploaded through DistroKid with absolutely no problem. Though one time I tried to upload a song just to find out that someone had locked that beat with a content identification system, so I couldn't upload that one song. I'm assuming that's what the paragraph you read is trying to defend against. Release it, see what happens. We're making hip hop here. If you're not trying to bend the rules, then go play the violin. Would you consider producing as a full-time job? Hi, I know this will sound innocent, but I really like making music and living off of it as my dream. I don't go for the bag or anything. I just want a minimal amount of money to be able to eat and sustain myself. Music is my passion, although that doesn't mean I'm super good at it. My beats are sometimes good and sometimes crap, but constantly learning and improving my skills is what keeps me going. So yeah, there's nothing else I can do with getting bored besides making songs. I'm 18 at this point in my life. I'm forced to make a decision and choose my career. The thing is, I don't really like any of those options that I have. I know that it may appear dumb. I'm asking for strangers to help me in this situation, so it's critical for me, but I don't know where to ask. My parents did help me, but they don't know much about production. So anyway, sorry for the long post. Yeah, man, definitely consider producing as a full-time job. I've been in the work world for about 10 years now, and it sucks, and I'm still mostly broke. Yeah, man, if that's your dream and you understand that it's a journey to continue to improve all the time, then do it. You know, once this streaming phenomenon happened where people can get paid for every time their music plays, it completely changed the game. Before, when I was growing up, everybody used to buy CDs, and people used to make a lot of money up front just off CD sales. Unfortunately, when Napster came out, it was great for the consumer. I could open up a whole new world to music, but for the artists and the producers, I mean, yeah, their money got cut drastically. But now that we have all these streaming platforms, the way I look at it is almost like real estate on the internet. And it's an investment that just can only grow over time. You know, let's say you put 10 songs out on the internet, just for an example, they don't get any streams. You're probably out, what, 30, 40 bucks a month to pay for DistroKid just to distribute it. However, if you're able to produce good music and you learn how to market and get your music out there a little bit, those songs are just gonna keep generating revenue for the rest of your life. And so every song that you put on the internet is like another plot of real estate that just continues to grow in revenue over time. The amount of money that you're gonna lose is almost negative. Like if you run a business, you have overhead cost. You have to pay for, well, salary for any employees that you have. Even if you don't have salary, you got to pay for whatever utilities in the building you have. You got to pay for space. You got to pay for the products that you're selling. You got to pay for office supplies. There's tons of overhead. With music production, your overhead is just whatever cost that you spent on buying your actual equipment. In terms of making the music, all you're really spending is your time. So if you're going to spend your time making music, why not put it out there anyway? Put it out there. You can get ad revenue from YouTube. You get revenue from streams on Spotify and Apple Music and stuff like that. It's an excellent business opportunity where your chance to earn money will only go up, and the amount of loss of money, or the, I guess, operational expenses, paying for distribution platforms, things like that, is very small. So you have a lot to gain and not much to lose. The problem is, obviously, it's hard to get followers. It's hard to get people to listen to your music. But as long as you continue to put out music, as long as you continue to get better, and as long as you figure out a way to market and get your music out to people in a way that, people are actually going to come back and listen to it, yeah, man, sky's the limit. Go for it. All right, y'all, that's it for What's Up Wednesday. Giving my unofficial opinion on a bunch of random stuff, learn a little more about sound design, and giving you the review of my new headphones that are working out good enough. I appreciate you for watching the video. If you disagree with any of my opinions, I love arguing with random people on the internet, so feel free to drop something in the comments. If you got any tips for me or any ideas for anything that you saw in the video, hey, please let me know. That's it for What's Up Wednesday. Thanks for watching the video. Enjoy. Have a good one.